Instagram just absolutely changed the game for making money on its platform. And in today's video, I'm gonna go and break down exactly what the update is that they've just released, why it is so important, especially for info and coaching sales, and exactly how to implement it into your business to drastically increase the amount of sales and leads that you're getting from your organic content. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeremy Moser. I'm the co-founder of Social Profit Media. We're a marketing agency. I've generated over 100 million info and coaching sales directly through Instagram content. Okay, so let's get right into this. So simply put, here's what this new update is, what I call the linking. At the end of every single Instagram reel as you post it, you now have the option to sort of link a second piece of content, which means at the very end of it, you can prompt people to click a certain link and essentially get redirected to another piece of content. It's the exact same feature that YouTube's been having for multiple years. Essentially, where in the middle or at the end of your YouTube video, you can say, hey, you should also watch this video, and then just kind of links it in, which means that some people, they kind of become serial watchers. And the reason why the serial watching is extremely important is because it actually allows you to start treating Instagram very similar to a direct response funnel. I'll give you a very good example. On YouTube, everyone knows that if you post a very vague topic, right, in the B2C space, the books you read, self-development tips, whatever, you get a lot of people in, they're fairly vague, which means they're probably not going to buy or have much intent. And so as a result, what you do is you link a VSL or in-depth explainer video of how you make money or what it is you do. And then the people who make it to the end of the video and actually are interested, they'll click that and start consuming it, which means people actually start like mass consuming and mass watching your stuff. Now, here's where this comes into handy when it comes down to Instagram. You guys know the famous Iman Ghazi Flywheel VSL. Essentially, he has a bunch of YouTube videos, they link to his VSL, and from there he goes to checkout, right? So to kind of put this out visually, this is exactly how it looks, right? Every single video is either a bit of a broad video or sort of explainer tutorial video. And at the end of its video, he's directing them back to this one video, which is probably the video that he's made, that is his VSL or just best performing, best converting content piece, which is the laziest way to make money in 2026. At the end of this video, he kind of prompts you to click the link in the bio and buy his program. And at the minute, it seems to be a wait list, but this is very much a sales flow. All of these things here, they're supposed to get traffic, they kind of get traffic and they're supposed to get viewers in, and then kind of as a funnel, right, get them views, get them interested, and then obviously like direct them back to the VSL. And this is the exact same thing we're going to be doing on Instagram. And I want to walk you through exactly how to do that. So the very premise is that if somebody watches your reel, right, to become more educated, but at the end of it, instead of just saying, oh, comment this, get a resource, or hey, DM me the word, especially on more broader content pieces, you might be like, I want them to be more familiar with what it is I do or who I become as a person. And so what you do is essentially the following. So at the end of every single sort of like IG reel, you go and essentially direct them to a new sort of like a get to know me, okay? So it's a very specific nurture content piece that has a few things, okay? Number one, you do know that it gets you followers, right? If that's what you want. Number two, you do know it is proven to get leads. And number three, it's proven to actually generate money. Essentially, what you can do here is you want to figure out, okay, cool, what is my sort of highest performing content piece organically that I can then leverage as sort of the bridging piece. So as an example, one of the things that we do quite a bit is we do opinion-based content. Now, we tie opinion-based content always back into sort of the business vehicle or what we're promoting. But in case you just make an opinion of, hey, here's the watch collection that I have, or hey, here's how much money I spend on like a holiday, you can then go and say, instead of making that holistic, and by the way, if you want to know how I've been able to finance this whole trip, like just watch this next video where I walk you through my exact income streams or whatever it is. And so now, instead of having to extend the reel and do this whole breakdown and hope people watch it, you can just redirect them to another video that does a really good job explaining it, is proven to sort of build connection and make people want to learn more by either following you or reaching out to you. And last but not least, you know that the type of people that reach out or follow you as a result of that reel are generating money. Here's how we're going to go find that, okay? So first things first, we're going to go and grab our phone, okay? We're going to open the Instagram app and we're going to go to the top right, which is like sort of your profile. From there, we're going to click the professional dashboard. Now, what it's going to show you is going to show you content you shared, right? You can say you can select however long you want. I would probably say last 6 months. What I would want to do is you want to add filters. Now, the filter that you want is sort by highest versus lowest, and then you can check what metric you want. So for example, I want highest follows. So apply that, and now I would understand that this content piece here in particular is sort of the best performer, which is a carousel. Or if I wanted a reel, I know the lifestyle marketing one did really well. So now what I can do is I can filter those reels out, and those are the ones I would test to link, which is fairly simple. Now, there's a second element that you can do, which not many of you all understand. If you track your content properly inside of like a spreadsheet you can use ManyChat's data to actually understand which content piece, aka which CTA, actually provides you with the most amount of leads. And as a result of that, most amount of cash as well. So if you don't have that data, you might actually want to set up some tracking systems around how to actually go and track your DM activities and all of that good stuff so that you are capable of making that decision, which is very data and sort of numbers driven. At the end of this, what you should be having is you should have like 3 sort of content pieces that you can go and do, because here's the flow. You're going to now be doing the following thing. You're going to be posting content at the very top of funnel. That's how you drive a lot of awareness. You know, that's how people get to know about you. They might actually just agree with you as a person, but they don't know exactly what you're going to do. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to send them to that get to know me content, which means you're actually going to create a lot of awareness / education. And then from there, inside of that reel, either you can literally do a multi-step. So essentially where from IG, right? If you actually go and do an IG post, you then link a reel, which you obviously do here, boom. And then from there, you link to another reel that has a CTA, right? It can either be a 2 or a 3-step process. If you understand that this reel really gets people engaged and then this reel really converts people, you might want to do a 2-step almost, where, you know, they watch it, cool, they really fuck with you as a person, and now they want to learn about how much money you make. You know, if that's what you realize is a great combination, do that. Alternatively, you just have a 1-2. But at the latest stage, you know, at one point, you want to get them to become a lead, where essentially from here, you know, all that they do is they're like, damn, this is so interesting. I want to DM or comment this person where I can actually get a free guide, or I just can learn more how what he does works. The reason this is so powerful is because there's a few things. Let's say this is all the attention that you can get. The issue is that most people, they just have one direction, which is like DM, right? The problem with it is, even though it's a good funnel, is that some people is just premature, right? Think about it. Some people who are coming on to watch your content, it's kind of like dating. For some of them, it's like the first interaction, aka sort of the first date that they have with you. For others, it's like the 8th or 9th date. What you're saying is you're going for sort of the close, which is either do you want to hook up, do you want to get married? On a first date, that's a bit risky, I would say. And so for some people who haven't had that time of interacting with you time and time again, this can be a really great tool where you can actually sort of reduce the risk of losing people, because obviously the drop off from here to here is extremely big, right? Because only a small fraction of people will actually engage. So as a result, if you actually use the linking strategy, that can be very powerful. Now, as you kind of implement this, I want to give you 3 specific posts that are proven to work extremely well for us in terms of generating leads and getting a lot of followers. The first one is what we call the transformation post. Now, the transformation post, very simply put, is just where you tell your origin story of where you started and how your vehicle helped you go from there all the way up to where you are now. It's a simple piece where essentially you just explain your story, you kind of make yourself a bit more relatable, and you just articulate exactly where you're from and what you've gone through to get to where you are right now, which is probably where the audience wants to go. Now, the second part of that, the second piece of content I would always post is sort of like a social proof / authority piece of content. That is as simple as explaining what it is you're doing or how much money that you've made doing the thing that you're doing. Give a few examples. It can be as simple as like, hey, it's perfectly legal to rent a property for $2,000 and sublet it on Airbnb for this much money, making this much in profit. Good way to introduce your vehicle per se. The second version of that will be, hey, last month my 9 Airbnb properties made this much money. Here's exactly how I started this with only 20K. So there's like a very good way to kind of create awareness out of it. The last content piece would be like a very tactical or sort of objection handling piece of content. So that could be something like a conversation, whether that's like, oh, what if nobody rents out your Airbnb? Or what if this happened? It's a really good piece where essentially you use a very tactical approach. This would be more like a 3-part sort of like triangle, but realistically, it could be handling an objection. It could be addressing a frequently asked question. It could be just really kind of walking through something that is super valuable to them. So for example, how I get landlords to let me sublet their properties, right? Or how I use AI to build profitable e-com brands. Just super tactical things. And again, the reason I give you those 3 options is because depending on the offer, depending on the audience that you're selling to, depending on the type of content pieces that you're currently putting out, it's very different. If you have a very tight process where like most people come in, they already kind of know who you are and they kind of rock with you, you might do more vehicle social proof as well as tactical components. Whereas if you do more like opinion or like very viral stunt, then you might actually be doing a lot more in terms of giving your origin story so they get to know you. The action plan from here, super simple for you. What you want to do is this, right? Number 1, you want to go through your content, identify which content pieces are actually best performers in terms of getting you new followers, or if you have that data tracked, you can go and figure out which one actually converts the best. Step number 2 is to actually go and set up the linking. What we haven't tested, which we will right now, is if it works on trial reels, that's even better. Moral of the story, for your existing reels, you want to go and figure out a way you want to go and do the linking. So essentially, you know that most of your traffic gets down to 1 or 2 single pieces of content. And then once you actually do that, you want to see and gauge whether there's a massive impact in your lead flow or in your follower count. And over time, you just want to go and split test. So for example, if you realize that, hey, this content piece, I feel it works well, but I want to test it, go swap it out for a week and see if something changes. What you should be seeing within a 3 to 4 week period, where essentially you test 2 to maximum 3 different content pieces, is you should be finding a winner, which means this type of thing gives me either more followers or it significantly drives more lead flow, which means as a result of that, you want to go double down on it. If you don't really know how to track your stuff, you don't know how to actually convert them from there, this is a different story for another day. But if that's something that you want to have help with in order to scale your info coaching business, grow your brand, get more leads, get more sales out of your content, then feel free to hit the link below and kind of work with us. We kind of install the entire system from A to Z that we've used to scale 20 to 30 brands at this point, past 100K plus per month from Instagram alone, all the way up to taking people past $1 million a month off of purely Instagram content. Now, with that being said, I hope you really understand why this linking feature is such a big fucking deal. And I hope to see you in the next video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, because we're trying to kind of blow this channel up this year and kind of actually get a little bit of social creds here. But with that said, I will see you in the next one.